Do you think that the New Jerusalem that descends from heaven to earth uh, is literal or figurative?
Yeah, that's a good question. I think the illusion would be more of a figurative speech for this reason. Could it be literal? Sure. I'm not going to be opposed to that, right? I'm totally fine with the little 1,500 mile cube. That sounds pretty sweet. So bring it down, you know? But I think if you go to Revelation chapter 21, when you actually bring up the new heaven and new earth, at that time, the angel says to John, "Come, let me show you the bride coming down from heaven." And then he points up to the heavens and he says, "Behold, the new Jerusalem coming down out of heaven." So
Yeah. Well, it's
he
interesting that he describes us as his bride. It also describes the New Jerusalem as his bride.
right,
And some might say that that is our house.
right. Well,
So,
of course, 1,500 miles, right?
I mean, maybe,
All
maybe, maybe
floors.
we're in there when it descends. So when he says, "Hey, look, the bride," it's because that's us in there.
It's a possibility, right? And that's why I'm like, yeah,
Yeah.
that sounds great. But I do believe the new heaven and new Jerusalem, since again, if I'm saying that's a spiritual kingdom, spiritual language, that's the consummation of all things. What I'm seeing John saying is, "Come, let me show you the bride that the Christ has inherited for himself." And then it's all the saints throughout history coming down.
Oh, there's no cube.
It could be. I don't mind the cube.
But
I
it talks
mean,
about foundations and gates of pearl and gold and crystal surface. It freaking gives a measurement of 1,500 miles by 1,500 miles.
yeah. And
And
again,
it says in human measurements,
yeah,
you know,
yeah. And
maybe it's just all the saints like squished into a cube-like shape and it measures 1,500 by 1,500, you know?
it's going to be a hard sell. It's going to be a property is not going to be that advantageous because they won't. We're going to all be squished in there.
Bro, hey,
No,
hey,
There's
he
not that many
goes,
people.
he goes to prepare a place for us,
I
right?
agree.
Where my father is, there are many mansions. If it
If
weren't
were
so,
not so, I would not.
I
tell
would
you.
have told you.
Yeah. that's
You
right.
think he's kidding? I don't think he's kidding.
No,
Maybe
again,
144,000 fit comfortably in there.
that's right. It's reserved for them. No, I don't disagree. Like it totally could be a cube, right? And I'm okay with that. That doesn't affect like absolutely anything at all. Like
Hey, if you don't know what the cube is, go read Revelation 21. Okay, because
I-
most Christians don't believe me when I tell them that. Christians
Oh, yeah.
believe that there is a cube coming from God to earth, and that's where we're going to spend eternity, likely, with Jesus. Most Christians don't know that, man.
no, well, most Christians don't even know a lot of things of the Bible. So I mean,
That's also true.
that's a different discussion.
I want to share that actually. It's kind of cool when I just
What? The image? Oh, dude, it's
Yeah.
so dope. Look at this thing.
Oh my gosh! you
Oh
make-
my God.
it
Look
looks
at
like
this.
it looks like the Tesseract from
Dude.
Transformers.
I freaking believe this. The best part
Oh,
is
man.
seeing
Okay,
visually the words that are on paper and then being like, "Oh my God, that's what I believe."
Yeah.
Oh,
It's
dude,
very
so good,
Yes.
bro.
When you show it
So
that way,
good.
yeah, when you show it that way, it makes me want to hold back on it being figurative.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, it does.
And the
Exactly. Because
streets-
when you
streets of
actually,
gold
Dude.
inside.
when you visualize some of this stuff, bro, it's mind blowing. And that's why, Ellie, I'm not one to, well, I shouldn't say that because you're gonna be able to pick it apart. If it doesn't need to be interpreted, I try not to. So so when it talks about a 1,500-mile cube coming from heaven, I'm like, oh yeah, Jesus talked about that. He talked about mansions. He talked about preparing a place, and this is it. This is what he's talking about. And I love, bro. My favorite is that it's crazy. My favorite is that it's so mind-boggling that somebody would be like, oh, well, seeing it actually makes me want to double think it because I'm like, hell yeah, then he's doing it right. Because you shouldn't be thinking about it and thinking you got it all wrapped up and
That's true.
and finalized. You know what I mean? He even freaking says that had the rulers and authorities known the plans, they wouldn't have killed Jesus. He doesn't want it to make sense because he gets all the glory for it, man, when it works out. Oh, I love it.
Yeah. No, and
I love
you're-
visualizing this
No,
stuff.
you're
man.
right.